Have you ever like so when you're able to get the watch on screen and you've done it, like what was there one that you're like specifically proud of, like a shot where one of your watches really stands out when you're watching it after on, you're like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I told this story before, so I don't want to bore anybody, but I was working on the show Billions, and I had just got the BB GMT, the Tudor BB GMT,
Nice.
and my buddy shows up with a Tudor Submariner, like one of the MNs, and we were like, man, we have to try to get our watches on camera, and we had to escort an actor out of the room, and I'm like, why don't you throw your watch on your right wrist? I'll have it on my left wrist. And we'll put our hands up on the guy's chest as we push him out of the room and into the elevator, and hopefully we'll get like a cool wrist shot. And it worked out. And
Nice.
yeah, that one I was pretty proud of. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I mean, I'm trying to think of some other. There's a bunch. Off the top of my head, I can't really think. The movie Inside Man, I was able to get a watch in that and like see it in the final product, and like you could tell what kind of watch it was. And
Nice,
oh man,
nice.
this is cool.
That's cool. It also kind of like, I mean, from the watch perspective, as a watch enthusiast, when you're watching a movie, I mean, we know this, like the watches that people wear say a lot about them. And so the way that you're, able to consciously kind of tie in, like you said, well, a 1980s cop wearing a 6309, maybe he was a former military guy or something like that, like tying in the watches to the characters is a really kind of very subtle but very specific way to flesh out the idea of who you're playing on screen, right?
Yeah, yeah. Plus, I want other watch nerds like to be watching it and be like, "Oh, dude, that's the BB GMT! Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is cool!" Like the watch spotting aspect is just fun, and I want other people who are nerds like I am about this to be like, "Hey, oh, I think the guy has a Panerai on," or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Kind of like
yeah.
the like insider handshake, little
Yeah,
secret
exactly.
thing. Have you ever
Exactly.
been like, speaking of watch people are always looking at other people's wrists, right? Have you ever, like, one of the stars on screen, any of the big names that you've worked with, have you ever kind of been like, hey man, it's a nice Tudor, or maybe vice versa? Has anybody else ever kind of clocked what's on your wrist on set?
Nobody's clocked what's on my wrist. I've clocked what's on a couple actors' wrists when they're in their wardrobe. I'm like, oh, hey man, is that a Longa? And they're like, I don't know, props gave it to me and it's a fake watch,
Yeah, yeah.
The only dude that would show up to work every day with his personal watches on was Justin Theroux on a show called White House Plumbers, and he always wore a solid gold Submariner.
Ha.
And so one day we have to fit him for a stunt harness, and I'm in his trailer, and I'm like, hey Justin, I got to ask you about the watch. I've seen you like in magazines with this watch on, and you're wearing it every day to work. And he was like, it was like his eyes lit up, and he was excited to tell me the story about how it was his birth year watch and how he tracked it down and all that stuff, and how he wears it every day. And he was like one of the only actors who I've ever known as, okay, this guy's into watches. He wore a few watches throughout the season, real nice ones. But most people that I talk to about their watches, it's always, this is from props, and they're not into watches. Oh, okay. So Tom Selleck, one of the biggest,
Yeah, big
watch guys.
Yeah.
He'd always show up to work and like do his rehearsals in his plain clothes before he went and got in wardrobe. And every day he'd have usually some form of GMT. He had the solid gold GMT with the green dial.
Oh, nice.
But I don't think they. Oh man, it was so nice.
Yeah.
But he would also wear the Magnum watch, and we had a couple conversations about
of course.
like the actual Magnum watch. So
Sick.
he was another guy, but there's not many of them out there.
Yeah, Tom Selleck definitely seems like he's got a pretty bang up watch collection.